Let's get back. I have seen a few questions in the chat windows. I'll answer these questions before the end of the session today. Now let's look at holding period return. This is a time axis. We have lots of days here. And this is day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, and we have day N. Suppose an investor at day 1, he or she decides to invest on a stock. When he holds the stock till day 2, he will have a return, which is R2, and then hold to the 3rd day, he will have another return called R3. Okay, for easy reason, we can call it R1 or R2. It doesn't matter. It's just a sequence number. And then hold to the 4th days, it's R3. Hold to the 5th days, it's R4. Until, for example, hold to the n days, we have Rn minus 1. Okay, now we have a new sample, R1, R2, Rn minus 1, a new sample. These returns reflect what? The holding period returns of the investor during the period. And this process is exactly the same as the process investors do an investment during a period. So that's why it is also called an investment return. Okay. These are the terms from the course investment. Also, from the terms of statistics, we can find out these are also windows. This is Windows 1, this is Windows 2, this is Windows 3. And we find out this kind of windows is very different from the windows we have seen in periodic return. In periodic return, the windows are moving, right? The windows are moving each time one step. But the length of the window is fixed. So this is the situation for the windows in periodic return. For example, if we look for a weekly basis analysis, the length of window is 5 days. If for monthly analysis, the length of window is 21 days. If for a quarterly return, the length of window is 63 days. If for an annual return, the length of window is usually in China is 252 days, right? Okay. In the periodic return, in the windows for periodic return, the new samples, the number of new samples, how to calculate the number of new samples. Suppose our original sample, there is n observations. And suppose the length of our periodic return windows, the length is m. And we will have n minus m plus 1 observations for the new windows of sample. Okay. These are the situations for the window situation in periodic return. So in statistics, this kind of windows is sometimes also called moving windows or rolling windows. And these terms from different discipline of courses, moving or rolling windows from statistics and periodic return from investments. Similarly, for this case, we have periodic holding period return, investment return. These terms are from investment. And expanded window, extended window, or similar names are from statistics, right? Okay, their meaning are the same. But of course, they have broader areas for application. Okay, do you have an idea on holding period return? This is a very important concept. Let's back to the slides. Well, this is the Python scripts for the topic case just now. Jingdong versus Amazon in terms of their holding period return, we still use the Python command, compare command. And this time we use the situation 2 stocks with 1 measurement. 2 stocks, 1 measurement. The measurement here is called expanded return. Expanded return. So RET is an abbreviation of return usually, and EXP is expanded. Okay. The period in the case is from January 1st, 2019 until December 31st of 2020. It's 2 years. It's 2 years. Okay, let's do this exercise together. Let's replay this case first. Then, based on this case, we will do exercise. Let's replicate this case first. Jingdong and Amazon. You can simply replace the stock code here and analyze any 2 stocks in the world, not only in mainland China, but also all over the world. Stocks in Japan, stocks in Hong Kong, stocks in Korea, stocks in India, stocks in France, Germany, United States of America, even Israel. Okay, this is exactly the same as we have seen in the slides. Now, if we expect to change the period, and we try to look for the new situation till now. Okay, for example, we start from 2021 until 2022, July 12th. Let's look at the situation, and I'll try to find one person to explain. Amazon. AMZN is the stock code for Amazon. Wow, it's a very interesting picture. Pretty interesting. Amazing. Okay, let me find out someone. Please try your best to explain, plus your imagination. What about Bao Han?
Hi, Professor.
Okay, I've seen your question. I'll try to explain later. Okay?
Okay, thanks.
So,
All right.
now it's your turn to explain.
So from the chart, we see that the holding return of Jingdong and Amazon from 2021, January 2021 is first it fluctuated around 0 for a while, and then it's flat.
This is for Amazon, around 0, right?
Yeah.
But for Jingdong, starting from here, it's below 0.
Yeah.
It's below 0, right? So
Yeah,
this is the 0 line.
Then go down.
This is the 0 line. So the first point, what do you want to say?
So the trend for Amazon fluctuated around 0 and then went downwards sharply. But for Jingdong, it went downwards, mostly below 0 after March 2021.
Okay, this is the first point.
And second point is that at first the return of Jingdong was higher than that of Amazon, but afterwards the return of Amazon was higher, was mostly higher.
So in general, Jingdong is lower, right?
Yeah.
In general, this means the order of higher or lower in terms of HPR in this graph is very different from the picture we have seen in slides, right? Means the situation reversed.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Continue.
What else?
Many interesting things, right? Many interesting things. Let's look at here, right? What happens?
Probably there was a dividend or split of shares, like what Apple did.
Yeah, probably.
So
we'll verify later.
Yeah.
And what else have you found?
Yeah, maybe the two stocks are both not quite worth holding because of this negative return.
So if you were virtual mode, if you were a security analyst, what do you recommend to your customers, your investors, your advices? Your advices to investors. What is your advices to investors?
Maybe not that worthwhile to hold.
Very careful.
Share.
Be very careful, right? Okay, if you want to buy, be very careful. Okay, so very good, Bohan. Let's find out what happens here for Amazon, right? So first, let's check about stock split for Amazon. Stock split. Okay, here, stock split. If we have a stock split for Amazon, so look at here, there must be a dramatic ratio. A dramatic ratio. Let's try to find out. Here, Amazon, AMZN. And what is the period? Okay, it's the period from 8th July, 8th May. Probably it happens in June, right? Not sure. So we can start from June the 1st until the beginning of July. Okay. 2022, probably June the 1st. And then 2022, let's look at end of June 1st. If we cannot find anything, we can expand the period of time. Oh, yes, we find out something. Look at here. 2022, June the 6th, Monday. We have a stock split. And the split ratio is amazing. 1 to 20. 1 to 20. Surprise. Big surprise. Very big surprise. 1 to 20. Think about that. Suppose originally before this date, you have 1 share of Amazon. And after this date, now you have 20 shares. You have 20 shares. 19 times more. 19 times more. Wow. Is that a dream? Yes, it's a dream. However, although you hold more Amazon shares, but the stock price down, I believe it's a dramatic down. So let's look at the stock price of Amazon during that period. You can simply do that. So Amazon stock price, we have learned how to analyze stock price, right? Security price. Amazon. Okay, let's look at longer. So probably we look at from 2022, May the 1st to 2022, July the 12th. Okay, let's look at a longer time. Probably this from January 1st, okay? Let's look at the picture. This is the stock price. Wow, you look at here. So the stock price here, this is the stock price for Amazon. The stock price for Amazon. So this is the critical day, a turning point, June the 6th, where Amazon has a stock split. And the split ratio is 1 to 20. And before the stock split, the stock price is roughly 2,500 US dollars. And after that is here. Probably here is 250. Okay, we don't know exactly, but we can display the variable. We can display the variable and find out more details. Okay, let's find out more details. Here we have here. Okay. Copy. Let's look at. Here. Oh, might be too much. Okay, let's look at tail for last 60. Still too much, right? Oh, June the 6th. Okay, it is roughly 125. Can you look at here? Okay. This is June the 6th, 2022. The stop price is here. So the first one is, okay, open. Okay, the last one is the close price. So let's look at the last one. Look at the last one. We do okay. The last one is the close price of Amazon on June the 6th, 2022 is about 124, right? Now, here is, so this points is about 2,500 US dollars. And here is roughly 120 plus something US dollars. So what do you think? What do you think? It's a dramatic fall. Is a dramatic fall of stock price, right? Okay. So like a waterfall, Sometimes they call it a waterfall. And by theory, we can roughly calculate the stock price after the stock split in this way. 2025 divided by 20. So 20 is the split ratio. So it's roughly equals to 120 something US dollars, right? It's very close to the actual one. Now, Baohan, if you are still there, I expect you to do a big forecast on the future trends of Amazon stock price, because this course will still last till the end of this month. So we still have opportunities to look at the trends of Amazon stock price. So would you like to make a personal forecast on Amazon stock price trend till the end of this month?
Yeah, well, so okay.
It's a challenge to you, okay?
Yeah. So I personally won't be too optimistic about the stock price, even though there was a stock split and the price is way cheaper than previously, so that the stockholders, people can purchase the stock more easily. That should be the sign of a rising stock price. But however, due to recent the measurements by the Fed, so the interest rate is keep increasing. So I personally isn't too optimistic about the stock price for the short term.
So you want to bet on both sides?
I will bet on a fall probably.
You a fall?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you are a security analyst, you can make only one choice, either up or down, or
down.
flat. Okay.
Maybe flat is safer.
Okay. Flat. This is called flat. This is down, and this is uprising, right?
Yeah. So, just personal opinion.
Okay. Then we can check before the end of this course, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a challenging, right?
Yeah.
But if I make the forecast, just as you said just now, the stock price gets much cheaper now, and more investors are affordable to buy Amazon stocks. If we have more investors to buy Amazon stocks, okay, the stock price would be an uprising trend. And now we have noticed that the interest rate from the Federal Reserve, the Federal Reserve, right? The trend is getting lower. But it's a question mark. Because the inflation in US is now higher. And there is a strong appeal to Federal Reserve to raise interest rate in order to suppress inflation. So it is hard to say. I believe that's why you feel optimistic, not optimistic to the upward trends, right?
Yeah,
okay.
That's right.
Okay, let's check before the end of this course, at the end of this month. Okay, very good. Very, very interesting. Okay, let's back to the slides. Now, we have exercise cases. So in this exercise cases, let's do it together. Let's compare, okay, this time we compare ICBC and CCB. So both, this time we use A shares. You know, ICBC is the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China. Commercial Bank of China. It is the largest bank in China. And CCB stands for China Construction Bank. Construction Bank, which is also one of the largest banks in China as well. This time, we want to use holding returns, and the time period starting from 2020. Next, let's compare Hong Kong shares. The two stocks we choose this time, PetroChina, is the largest oil company in China. Largest oil company in China. And CNOOC means China National Overseas Oil Company. Okay, it's the third largest oil company in China. Third largest. You know the second largest oil company in China is called Sinopec. It's called Sinopec. Okay. The largest one, PetroChina. The second largest, Sinopec. The third largest, CNOOC. And this time we compare their shares in Hong Kong.hk. Now let's do it together. Okay, you can do it together with me. ICBC. Here, ICBC. So this is for A shares. These two A shares are listed in Shanghai Stock Exchange. Our starting date this time we set from 2021. I'll try to find out a person to explain. So this time probably, what about Zhang Yueyang? Yueyang, are you there? If you are comfortable to explain.
Yes.
Okay. Now we have the picture. Now we have the picture. The solid blue lines for ICBC. This is for ICBC. And this is for CCB. And the starting date is January 2020 until almost today. Now, we'd like to hear your ideas. Yueyang.
Okay, and they seems to have the similar trend.
Okay, first point, you say there's similar trends. I agree.
But in a former period, it seems that the ICBC and CCB they almost and their data seems the same, but in the from 2021 and April to July, it seems that the CCB have the bigger return, expanded return.
CCB higher, right? CCB higher. Okay, the curve is above. Right?
But their expanded return are under zero, so they have the
under zero.
Return.
For most of the periods, they are all under zero, right? They are all under zero. And
their return have a downward trend.
Downward trend. And do we have other findings?
And I don't find it.
Okay, what about the spread?
Their spread, I think at the April their spread reached the largest and ahead of before January their spread is that.
Yeah, their spreads are changing, right? Sometimes bigger, sometimes very smaller, right?
Right. Yeah.
But we don't find a significant trend for the spread. So we have not much things to say about their spreads. Okay. And I expect you to do a forecast as well. Now it's July. Our course will last to end of July. Would you like to do a forecast about their expanded return trend? Is still down or flat or upwards? Would you like to do a forecast on that?
I think they will be flat.
Flat. You bet on flat, right? So
Yeah.
May I know your justifications for your forecast flat?
I think because they have almost nearly half of year they have the flat trend, so I bet they will still have the flat trend. I think.
Yeah, that's a good reasons, right? That's a good reasons. So actually in investment, we have a series called History Will Repeat, right? This is the trend. So that's why your forecast is still flat, right? Although we may have lots of fluctuations, but the trend will be flat. Okay, that's an interesting forecast. And you can check before the end of this course, which means the close to the end of this month. Okay, thank you. Let's back to the slides. Okay, pretty good. This is the end of these topics. Next, we'll move to the risk of stock. We have discussed the return of the stock, and the other side of return is risk. It's something like a coin. So we have a coin. Probably this side we call return, and this side we call risk. This means that risk will always accompany with return. Always accompany. Always accompanies with return. So these two are, we call two are, performs like a twin. Perform like a twin, right? So in the future, if you want to do investment, whenever you look at return, please remember advice from me. Always think about risk. Or you can always think about the two are together. Okay. On the part of stock risk, we will have three topics. Topic 8, we will analyze the risk of stock price first, and then we will analyze the risk of stock returns. And last, we will talk about the risk of investment loss. Okay, let's look at the first one. Let's look at the risk of stock prices. This time, let's use Jingdong and Alibaba again. The questions in this topic is, how can we quickly describe the risk of stock price volatility, or in other words, we call stock price risk, or stock price volatility, or stock price fluctuations. We have lots of words. Fluctuations. And the second question is how to find out the differences of two stocks price risks, the differences of two stock performance in market in terms of their stock price risks. So this topic, we expect to resolve these two questions. Now let's look at the topic case first. Jingdong and Alibaba. These are the dates. These are the dates. And these are the measurements for stock risk. Now we find the new measurement called annual price volatility. Annual price volatility. From the word annual, you can see it's a periodic measurement. And then it's focused on stock price. And then volatility. In security investment area, volatility is almost the same word for risk. Almost the same word for risk. Let's look at the picture first. Then we will explain the meaning of the new measurements. The solid blue line is for Jingdong. And the orange dot line is for Alibaba. From this graph, we can easily find out a couple of points. First point, Jingdong's risk, stock price risk, higher. Second point, the spread of Jingdong's stock price risk compared with Alibaba is getting bigger. Third, in general, the trend is upward. What else? Okay, these are the three major points we can quickly find out. So now you can find out the significant advantage of this picture. We can easily find out, or we can easily identify the differences of two stocks in terms of their stock price risks. Okay. Next, let's explain how do we measure the risk of stock prices. In order to measure the risk of something, we need to borrow a term from statistics that is called standard deviation. Standard deviation. In statistics, whenever we need to describe the basic information of a sample, we have to provide at least two measurements. These are observations. We have to provide at least two measurements. One is called the mean. Another is called the standard deviation. In abbreviation, it's called the STD, standard deviation, mean and standard deviation. Mean and standard deviation. I suppose all of you have learned a course called statistics, okay, or theory of probability, where we have learned normal distribution. For a standard normal distribution, its mean, what is its mean? Its mean is 0, and its standard deviation is 1, right? So for a standard normal deviation. Okay, there's a quick review about standard deviation. Now, in order to measure the risk of stock price, we can do a standard deviation of stock price. That's pretty easy, but we have a serious problem. What is a serious problem? I'll explain after our break. Now let's have a 10 minutes break. See you after 10 minutes.